What's going on, everybody? I think we are running here. My name is Mike, and I will be doing a little full body workout for everyone today on behalf of Headsweats. Thank you to Headsweats for having me back. I'll give people a few minutes to join in. Just turned 11 o'clock. So I'll give my background again. So I am a personal trainer living in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I really like to prioritize movement and natural movement as my my biggest emphasis when it comes to training. So not as much about intensity or crazy, cool, sophisticated fitness trends. I really think natural movement is the best way to continue moving sustainably for as long as possible. I got into running last year, and I'm a big believer in the minimalist shoe movement, which we can talk more about as the workout goes on. But in short, I think a lot of shoes are designed suboptimally. They don't give enough space to the toes and to the feet. And so I work with some organizations that are trying to spread that message a little bit more, because the big shoe companies don't necessarily disclose that information. So I won't get too much into that. But I will be wearing a pair of minimalist shoes today. Generally I'm barefoot. If you're at home, I encourage you to be barefoot, but I will be on this kind of chilly gym floor. So I want to give myself a little bit of cushioning between the cold floor and my skin. So like I said, today's workout is going to be full body. There is a description of the workout in the description of this video, so hopefully you guys can see that. But we're just going to start with a pretty basic warm-up. We're going to do a little bit of mobility and stability stuff, and then we'll do a strength component, and we'll do a conditioning component at the end. If you guys have any questions as the workout is going, please shoot a comment. I'll try to answer it on the go. And if you can't hear me, if I'm not speaking clearly, anybody, please let me know. But I think it's about 11:03. So we'll get started here. So I will walk you guys through our first 3 movements. So we're gonna do 3 movements, and we're gonna go for time. So we're gonna go 30 seconds work, 15 seconds rest, and this is just the part of the warm-up where we get things moving. We'll get the heart rate up slightly, we'll move the joints a little bit, but it won't be super intense. So let me walk you through those now. So we're gonna do the first one, which is called the Cossack Squat. So you guys are gonna take a really wide stance. You're going to squat over to one side. You're going to extend the other side, and you're going to either keep that foot flat or let the toes come up. Whichever side you're squatting down to, you want that foot to stay nice and flat. You're going to come back to center, and then you're going to switch. So just for 30 seconds, we're going to go back and forth. I don't want you to start that yet. I'm just walking you through that one. So that's the Cossack Squat. After that, we're going to do what's called the yoga push-up, which is going to be done from downward facing dog to start. So hips up nice and high. You're going to dive down and then end up in upward facing dog. So start with the hips nice and high, dive down, nice and controlled, and then looking up on the finish. I want you to prioritize the bottom position. So if the transition from down dog to up dog is really challenging, then don't worry too much about taking your time. Just spend a second in down dog, spend a second in up dog, prioritize the stretch more than anything. And the last one we're going to do are the Ys and Ts. So this is like a prone shoulder movement. So with the Y, you're going to be face down. You should be making a Y position with your arms. I want you to look at the floor, but raise your arms up, thumbs up style, squeezing your shoulder blades, back down, and then turn into a T and do the same thing. So for time, we're just going to do those. So we're going to do 2 rounds. I'll set a clock. You should be able to hear it, but I will be keeping everyone up with the time. 10-second countdown. So we're starting with Cossack Squat. Left to right, nice and easy, nothing too fast. If anything feels uncomfortable, you can limit the range of motion slightly. So let's begin. 30 seconds. Left and right. And if you guys want to put your hands on the floor, you can. This is much more about the stretch than it is about the resistance. And again, if your straight leg foot is coming off the floor, that's okay, so long as you keep the foot on the side you're squatting down to nice and flat. Nice and easy. The arms can come out in front to counterbalance. 3, 2, 1. 15 seconds rest. Let me know if the music's too loud. We're gonna go yoga push-up next, starting downward dog. Hands about shoulder width, feet a little bit closer, hips up high. 3, 2, 1. Diving down, chest and eyes towards the ceiling. Think about exhaling as you look up. Inhale as you snap the hips up high. 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1. Good. 15 seconds rest. Y's and T's next. Very important for the shoulders here. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Start with the Y and go to the T. If your feet stay on the floor, that's fine, but they may come up slightly. Whatever happens naturally, let it happen. And try to pause just for a moment at the top position. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good, one round down. We're gonna do one more. Hope everyone's having a good Monday. Maybe this will help to make it better if it's not going well. 3 seconds. 2, 1. If you guys want to load this up in any way, you can. I don't necessarily suggest it for the warm-up, but if you are doing this as a resistance training movement, you could be holding a dumbbell or a gallon of water in front of you, or a pet or a child if you have something. It's up to you. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. 10 seconds. Here we go. So back to the yoga push-up. Diving down. Chest forward, eyes to the ceiling. Then hips back up. Breathe in. Exhale as you look up. 15 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Final movement, Y's and T's. 10 seconds. Take your time. If you guys want to take a little more rest, that's fine. The warm-up is just trying to get into the movement a little bit. The intensity should not be too high. Here we go. Last one. Thumbs up. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Y's, T's. And try to look at the floor. You don't want to extend the head and neck too much. Try to keep your head and neck in a neutral position. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1. Very good. 2 rounds down. That is the first part of the warm-up. I call that first part the warm-up, but the truth is that warm-up and then the mobility and then the stability are all a part of the warm-up. So there's 3 parts to it. Take a little rest. I have some water here somewhere. So what we're going to do next are our mobility movements. We're going to do 3. They are designed to take the joints through relatively full ranges of motion in different directions and different parts of the body. So I'll give everybody a second. Again, if I'm not speaking clearly, please let me know. I will do my best to speak up and enunciate today. Hope everyone had a good holiday if they were celebrating Easter. Alrighty. So we're gonna jump into mobility. So we're gonna do what's called the inchworm for 5 reps. We're gonna do sideline windmill for 20 and scorpion for 10. So I'm just gonna walk us through that as we go through it. You can do more or less reps. I really like to use our intuitive feelings about what's going on to direct us in our training. So yes, we assign reps to things, but if I happen to show you a particular stretch or exercise that you really like and it feels good, you are encouraged to do more. But if something doesn't feel so good, or you feel like you are not getting ample recovery or time to relax, then you can do less. So keep the rep scheme in mind as just a guiding number to go by. So, inchworm. Starting from standing, feet about hip width apart. You're going to reach down towards the toes. It's okay if there's a slight bend in the knees. You're going to walk out to the high plank, and then once you're there, you're going to walk yourself back in. So trying to keep the legs as straight as possible, but it's okay if there's a slight bend. So this is the stationary inchworm. Should feel this one in the hamstrings, maybe you'll feel it in the calves a little bit. We're going to do about 5 reps, so just take your time, on your own time. If you're keeping the legs straight and it's uncomfortable for the knee, please feel free to have a little micro bend with the knees. And if you want to add a little look up, you can do that as well, kind of like we did with the yoga push-up. Just nice and easy, control, try to keep the back in a good position. I think that's 5. Inchworm. Next one we're going to do is called the sideline windmill. If you've never done this one, I think this is one of the best stretches for the upper body, the chest, the arms, the head and neck. If you have something that you can elevate one leg, I would say that could be helpful. So if you have like a water bottle or a pillow or a foam roller or something like that, I'll show you the position we're going to get into. So we're going to be in this sideline position. You're going to put your, whichever leg is on top, can be elevated on something. It could be on the floor as well, but it can be a little bit more comfortable for the hip to elevate that leg slightly. Both hands are going to be out in front of the face, and you're going to take the top arm up, around. When you finish, you should be looking up at the ceiling with your arms kind of extended straight out to your sides, and then you're going to close it and repeat. So we're going to do 10 on one side, 10 on the other side. And take your time. Like I said, I think this one can feel really good, especially like first thing in the morning. Maybe you wake up and you're feeling a little stiff. Maybe you've been sitting in kind of a forward facilitated position at work, at a computer. This can be a wonderful way to just open up everything. Maybe you did a lot of bench press yesterday, or a lot of push-ups. This can be a very effective stretch at opening up that shoulder girdle. 10-ish reps on one side, and then switch. And I also encourage people to do additional reps if one side feels a little bit tighter. So sometimes we have muscular imbalances for whatever reason. Maybe you played a sport, or you play a sport that has you moving in one direction. Like I played golf for 15 years, and I was constantly swinging the club to my right side and following through, so that creates some imbalances for me. Interestingly enough, I think that actually strengthened my left pec more than my right pec. I have some theories about that, so usually I would do a few more reps on the left side, but maybe for you it's the opposite. If you feel like one side is tighter, feel free to do a couple more reps on that side. Okay, that was sideline windmill. I think we did about 20. We're going to do one more movement. This is the scorpion. We're going to do this for 10 reps, or 5 per side. This is going to be another prone one. So face down, arms out to the side. You're going to take one leg up towards the opposite hand, and then back to your starting position and switch. So this one has the potential to stretch and mobilize a lot of the stuff in the hips. You might feel this one in the lower back. If you let your shoulders come up off the floor, you'll actually get a bit of a pec and shoulder stretch on the side of the arm that's staying on the ground. This, for me anyway, this movement just seems to do a lot of very good feeling, positive stuff. So again, this is one I might do for a few more reps just because it's feeling good. But once you do about 5 per side, you can rest. And that's going to be our final mobility movement. So we're going to do that for about 5. We're going to do one stability movement. So the stability movement is designed to activate some series of muscles that we want active during the training session, but might not automatically be turned on for whatever reason. So I'm going to set a clock because we're going to do this on the Tabata timing interval. So Tabata is 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, and generally it's done for 8 rounds, but we're only going to do it for 4. So we are going to do what are called bird dogs. So let me set our clock here. So the bird dog is very good at activating the core muscles, especially the ones in the back. So you will have to stabilize, and I'll explain what this means, but you're going to be in this 4-point position here. So knees should be under hips, hands are under shoulders, and what we're going to do for 20 seconds is just send opposite arm and opposite leg out. So we're activating the posterior shoulder muscles, we're activating the glutes, or the hip extensors, and we're also activating the lower back and the abs, things that we all want to be active and engaged when we're getting into some strength training. So we're going to do 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. So hop into the 4-point position, nice and stable, and we're just going to nice and smooth go through reps, switching sides as we go. 3, 2, 1. So start. If my left arm is up, my right leg is going behind me. Trying to send that leg as far back as we can. It can be a little bit of a challenge just to maintain your balance, but that's okay. 1 down, 3 to go. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. And again, I'm trying to keep my head in a neutral position. I don't want to be extended up like this. I want to be looking at the ground, keeping the chin packed, relatively close to the neck. 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, we have a question. Thank you, Megan. I will do my best. Here we go, 2 down, 2 to go. 3, 2, 1. Back to it. Again, if you need a little bit of additional rest time in between, that's fine. This is still part of the warm-up. Nice and stable. And again, a little pause in that out position. 3 down, 1 to go. Here we go, last one, warm-up's done. 3, 2, 1. Whichever hand is on the ground, nice and stable, should be directly underneath the shoulder. Time. Good. Warm-up is done. If you want some water, please take some. We are now going to move into the strength training part of things. So we are going to do 4 movements, 3 rounds, and we're going to do 10 reps per movement. So if you guys lose track at any point, just remember you're doing 10 of everything. Like I said, the workout should be posted in the description, but if it's not, 4 movements, 10 of everything, and I'm going to walk us through each one. Modified exercise. Good question, Mia. My apologies. So we could have done something like a dead bug, which we're actually going to do later. That one is going to be lying down instead of on your knees and hands. And that would be kind of the same movement. So opposite leg, opposite arm. But there's going to be much more activation of the abs than the spinal erectors. So it'll feel a little bit different, but that's pretty similar. It's almost like the opposite, but in my opinion, it's still a lot of the muscles we're looking to activate. You could also do something similar prone. You could just do a Superman. So if you're on your stomach, instead of going like opposite Opposite arm, opposite leg. You could just be in the flat position and then raise everything up. I don't think it's, you could go opposite arm, opposite leg, but the position is a little bit easier, so you could go both arms, both legs at the same time. Sorry, I didn't answer that sooner. All right, so let's talk about these strength training movements. So I am going to use a pair of light dumbbells for this. You don't actually need to use any weight for any of this, but if you want to, you could use something like cans of soup, bottles of water, gallons of water, heavy books. That's whatever you have that weighs anything more than a pound or so, you could use, but you could use just body weight. And so the first one we're gonna do is called the L-sit shoulder press. So the position alone right here is gonna make this challenging. So we can be seated on the floor, and I have my 2 dumbbells here. You could be using just your hands or some books or something, but just being in this position, seated with good posture, with legs extended straight, is going to put a lot of good stress on the core, on the trunk, because you need to use all of the muscles of the trunk to stay in a nice upright position. Because if you don't, you're going to be slouched forwards. It's not going to be a very active position. So you want to keep your chest facing forwards, and you're just going to press your hands or some dumbbells overhead and back down. It doesn't look like much, but if you do 10 reps of these, it turns into a pretty challenging isometric core and shoulder movement. So we're going to do 10 reps. I'm going to use the light dumbbells here. Again, you don't actually need to use anything because it's primarily an isometric core stability movement. I may be doing more than 10. Good. Movement number 1. If anyone has any questions, please shoot them as the workout is going. To make that a little bit more doable, if that felt really challenging, is to elevate your hips slightly. So whether you're sitting on the edge of a couch or you're sitting on top of, like, I use like a yoga block, elevating the hips a little bit will make the position a little bit more stable. So if that's really hard to be on the floor doing that, consider elevating the hips a little bit. All right, the next one we're going to do, we do not need to use a weight for. It's called a single leg deadlift, and it's a hamstring movement and a hip extension chain of muscles movement, but it is also a balance movement, and balance is a huge part of my training. I think balance gets undertrained pretty terribly, so we're going to do it today. So you're going to start from standing. Feet should be close together. You're going to slide one foot back. You're going to end up in this forward hinging position, some bend in the knee of the foot that's down, and then coming back to standing. If you want to load this up, you could be holding on to 2 dumbbells. You could be holding on to like a gallon of water or a can of soup or a book. If you had like a bag or a backpack, you could actually hold it in front of you like this. But I want you to take your time, drag that foot back nice and slow. Like I said, you don't really need any weight for this because the balance is going to be so challenging. One little cue I like to give people to make it feel as stable as possible is try to keep your big toe flat on the floor. That's a mistake I see really often. I think that was 10 reps. That's a mistake I see very often, especially with the squat, is as people start to hinge back, you'll see that big toe come up. Keep the big toe down. If your big toe is leaving the floor, you are probably disengaging some chain of stability muscles, whether it's the abs or muscles of the lower leg that we really want to use in a position where we're only on one leg in the outstretched position. So again, if you're using dumbbells or cans of soup or something, you could just be holding them, and they should stay as close to the leg as possible. They shouldn't be out in front of you too much. Try to keep them nice and close to the knee. And once you get right around the knee, in terms of depth, that's when you can come back up. Very challenging. If that one is too challenging, you could consider keeping your back foot on the floor and hinging forwards in the same way. So those are our first 2. The next one we're going to do, this is a back exercise. This is called the lying back press. I really love this because I think too many people are anteriorly facilitated from being in positions, sitting at a desk. You can see how rounded my shoulders are. a lot of us are in this position all the time too much. And so pulling ourselves into a better posture is really important. But if you don't have a dumbbell or a band or something like that, it can be hard to figure out how to actually activate the posterior upper body muscles. So we're going to do the lying back press. It doesn't require any weight. I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's super challenging to actually load this up externally. So we are lying down on our back. My knees are bent. My feet are flat on the floor. My elbows are out about 45 degrees. So my elbows shouldn't be in, tucked to my body, and they shouldn't be straight out to the side. 45 degrees. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drive into the floor. That is going to lift my body off the floor. And I'm squeezing my shoulder blade to the top. And then I'm controlling on the way down. What I'm not doing is crunching using my abs. I am using the abs slightly, but most of the movement should be driven by the elbows. So we're going to do 10 reps with a little pause at the top. No spot. This one is tough. I do a lot of rowing and pull-ups and stuff like that. And that is still pretty hard. So, I really like that one. Not entirely sure how one would make that easier. You could reduce your range of motion up, but I think there's a lot of utility to that because we should always be trying to strengthen our backs and our pulling muscles, our postural muscles, but it can be confusing how to do that without any weight, so that's an interesting one. And the last one we're going to do is the dead bug. We're going to do 10 reps. This is a core movement, but it's kind of similar to the question that Mia asked, is there a different variation for the bird dog? And this is kind of like, it's similar, but it's in some ways the opposite chain of muscles. So we're going to be lying down on our back again. This time, we're going to go legs up, feet off the floor, and my thighs and my arms should be parallel when I start. What I'm going to do, I'm going to breathe in. I want to feel my lower back on the floor. I'm going to send my opposite arm, opposite leg away, and then back to the center. So that was one. I'm going to do 4 more, or you can think about doing 10 total, 5 per set. Again, I'm trying to keep a neutral head position. 1 more. Good. 10 reps. 4 movements. 1 round down. We're going to do 2 more rounds. So this, again, guys, is the strength part of the workout. Make sure you're not rushing through this. We are going to do conditioning after this, and that is going to get the heart rate up a little bit. But it's important to take adequate rest in between strength training movements because especially if we start to go heavy at any point, if you happen to have some heavy weights or heavy dumbbells at home, you want to make sure all of your stability muscles, everything that's going to be contributing to the prime movers has ample time to recover so you don't find yourself in an inferior biomechanical position going through some heavy movements. So, short rest, and then we're going to go back to that L-sit shoulder press. Thank you for joining if you're here. I appreciate you. And I appreciate Headsweats for having me. Here we go, round 2. L-sit, shoulder press, 10 reps. Trying to stay as upright as possible. Breathing in on the way down, breathing out when I extend overhead. Again, you can make that one slightly more stable by elevating the hips. After that, single leg deadlift. Again, take your time. If you need some rest, take some additional rest. If you're ready to go, 10 reps per leg, dragging your foot on the way back, keeping some bend in the knee of the foot that's on. If that's lower, that's fine as well. Just do not let the back around too much. One more. Good. 2 rounds down. Water if you want it. Make sure everyone is staying hydrated while you are quarantined. We will do one more round here. When you're ready, I will do my set of shoulder presses with just body weight, which is fine. This can be a really good way to start your day too. If you're about to go to a job or something where you know you're going to be sitting, if you're going to be driving for a while, this is a really nice way just to wake up all of these back and shoulder muscles. You don't need a lot of weight or any weight to get a lot of benefit from this position and this movement. Nice and upright. Try to imagine there's like a string at the top of your head. Pulling yourself up nice and high, preventing slouching. It's hard. You don't need really any weight to make that one challenging. Back to single leg deadlift. I'll do this one with body weight. When you're ready. One foot. I like to point the foot either totally straight or in slightly. Dragging that foot back. Good. Trying to keep the big toe on the floor. Again, the range of motion doesn't need to be huge. You don't need to try to get your head down close to the floor. You only need to hinge as far forwards as you can feel a little stretch in this hamstring. I think that's what I feel. Let's do 2 more. Again, you can be holding a bag or something in this front position if you're looking for some additional challenge. Or if you want to challenge yourself but you don't have any additional weight, you can consider pausing a little bit longer in that bottom position. For all the runners out there, I think this might be one of the more important movements to do. I think getting into the forward hinge position and being able to demonstrate a lot of stability will probably speak to your gait and your landing mechanics. If you are really struggling with a single leg position, that might not be a very good sign, considering a lot of running should be spent on one foot at a time. So if you're looking for a really some low-hanging fruit in terms of improving your gait and improving your stability and your landing mechanics, consider doing the single leg deadlift. Or really any single leg movement where one foot is going to have to stabilize most of the body. Rear leg elevated squat, skater squat, single leg deadlift, even some lunging, which we're going to do during the conditioning, all can be very, very helpful to runners, as someone who is starting to do much more running now. We go back to that lying back press. This is no joke. It's body weight. It's a very effective way to keep the back strong, even if you don't have any weight. Driving the elbow to the floor, squeezing shoulder blades, controlling yourself on the way down. And you're not crunching. You may feel the abs engage a bit, but they should not be the muscles primarily moving here. It should be your back muscles, your lats. You should feel tension in the elbows from driving into the floor. Let's go one more. I'm going to hold the last one. 3, 2, 1. Good. Final movement for the strength training, and then we'll get into some conditioning. This is turning into another long workout. I hope it's not too long for you guys. Again, if you do need to get out of here, you should be able to find this workout in the description, and I believe it's going to be posted on YouTube for you to follow along with later. We're going to finish with the dead bug, 10 reps. Last 2. Last 1. 3 rounds down. Good job, gang. If you are following along, you are done with the strength training. Good time to grab some water. What we will do to finish is some conditioning. And the condition we're going to do is called every minute on the minute. So what that means is you will have 60 seconds to complete each exercise. And if you finish your exercise before 60 seconds is up, then you get some additional rest time. And I do intend on you guys getting some rest time here. All of this you should be able to do without equipment. I do have a jump rope movement in, but that can easily be substituted with the jumping jack or with any plyometric jumping movement of your choosing. So the first thing we're going to do, so every minute on the minute, if you are using an interval app or something like that, you'll do 1 minute on or 60 seconds on, 0 seconds off. So we're going to do 20 either step forward lunges or walking lunges. So if you have a lot of space, if you have access to a lot of space, you can just do 20 walking lunges, alternating legs. When I lunge, I am stepping forward. I'm not taking a giant step. That's a mistake I see with lunges pretty often. I'm taking a small enough step that I can land that front foot flat with control. I descend so that my back knee is only a couple inches from the floor. I don't like to touch the floor. If you want to, that's okay, so long as you can maintain stability and control. And then when I step up, I bring this back foot up towards my front foot. So if you don't have a lot of space, you can do these stationary, which will actually involve a step back as well as a step forwards. But if you have a lot of space, you can just do 20 alternating lunges. We are then going to do, also if you don't want to do those, you could just do air squats or body weight squats, and you can reduce the range of motion as much as you want. That will probably get done a little bit faster, so take your time with those, so 20 reps. Then we're going to do side plank with a twist. So the side plank is going to be on your side. Your forearm is on the floor, and your hips are up, so you're in a nice straight line. Top arm is extended above you. You're going to reach under, and then back to your starting position. So we're going to do 10 reps on one side, 10 on the other. If that totally extended side plank is super challenging, then you can bend the knees and get into that same position with knees bent. And I'm trying to keep my head in line with the rest of my body. So I'm not looking up like this. I'm looking forwards, but my head is out to the side. So 10 on one, 10 on the other. And then we're just going to finish with 40 seconds of either jump rope or jumping jacks or jump squats or whatever you want to do. I love jump rope for the footwork benefits that it gives me for running. In my opinion, proper jump rope simulates proper running form, like pretty much to a T. Landing on the front of the foot, controlling your leg on the way down. If the heel touches the floor, it just very gently kisses the floor. But you should not be landing with your heel on the floor as the first thing to hit the ground. If you're doing that when you're jumping rope, you can obviously sense that that is not proper. And in my opinion, it's not the proper way to run either. But maybe you can practice that here. So just 40 seconds. And I'll let you guys know when the time is up. So, 3 rounds, 3 movements, 3 rounds, 9 minutes total. If anyone wants to make it more challenging, you could just do more rounds. So let's start with the lunge. 20 reps. 3, 2, 1. Take your time. Front foot should be nice and flat. I think that was 4. I'll do my next 10 stationary. If you're doing it stationary, do try to alternate. 5 on one, 5 on the other. If you're doing all of them stationary, 10 on one, 10 on the other. 30 seconds. If you want to load this up with dumbbells in front of you or by your sides, you may. Or if you have some heavy home item, like a bag or something, you can hold that in front of you. Good, that was 20 reps for me. 10 seconds, we're going to move on to the side plank after this one. 10 per side. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Arm is up. Reaching under. Back to your starting position. I got one more on this side. Good, you have about 35 seconds. Again, if the position is too much, you can go to that bent knee variation. Also, if the reps are too much, you can reduce your reps down to 8, down to 5, whatever is doable. I believe that was 10. It's hard to keep track of reps. All right, 5 seconds. We're going to go either 40 seconds jump rope or jumping jacks. Here we go. Start when you're ready. I am working on the jump rope. If you don't have a jump rope, you can just go jumping jacks. Nice and easy. Seconds. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. 1 round down. That's cool. 1 round down. 3 minutes. 6 minutes to go. We're going to go back to the lunge. If you guys need some additional rest, please go for it. If you're ready. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 20 reps. Good posture while we're doing this. I think that's 10. Again, if you can execute these movements with good form, and you can take the speed up a little bit, you will theoretically get a little more rest time. 20, 15 seconds. We're almost there, guys. About halfway done with conditioning. Back to the side plank when you're ready, 10 seconds. If you don't finish your reps, just move on to the next exercise. 3, 2, 1, side plank. Try to stay nice and stable. There shouldn't be too much rotation going on. There's going to be a little bit. Most of the movement should be at the arm. You try to keep the hips up high towards the ceiling. Just 20. That one takes a little while. Here we go, back to the jump rope or jumping jacks, whatever you're doing. I really love jump rope. I started to jump rope to work on my running, and I find that especially if it's not a very nice day outside, but you have access to a gym or some space in your house, and you have a jump rope, you can really simulate the fatigue of running pretty nicely. Ow. Good, there's 40 seconds. One more round. Final round. 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1. 20 lunges. Again, if the lunges are challenging or painful for the knees, you can just go into that bodyweight squat. If you're doing that, feet about hip width, toes point out slightly, keep the feet nice and flat, sit the hips back, keep the chest facing forwards. And I like to breathe as I'm descending, so I'm inhaling, exhaling as I stand up. And if the full range of motion bodyweight squat is too much, you can sit down to a chair or a couch or something like that. I'm not trying to get out of reps. I'm just trying to show you guys some options. 10 seconds, we're going to go back to the side plank. Three, 2, 1. Final set of the side plank. It's 10. 40 seconds. Keep the movement nice and stable. Trying to keep form as solid as possible. It's the end of the workout, so technique might break down a little bit. Try not to let it happen too much. Keep the abs on. One more for me. Good. Final movement. Jumping jacks or jump rope. See if I can get a solid 40 seconds in there. 3, 2, 1, go. Off. Getting tired here. Good work, gang. Conditioning is done. Hopefully those movements went pretty well for people. Hopefully it wasn't too challenging, but challenging enough to get the heart rate up. The jump rope always gets my heart rate up, even if I'm only going for 20 or 30 seconds. If you're new to jump rope, it's a really potentially powerful tool to enhance your conditioning. If you can get to the point where you're jumping rope for 3, 4, 5 minutes in a row, it's pretty hard. So that's it, guys. Again, my name is Mike. You should be able to find me in the description below. But on Facebook and Instagram, I'm at Solemn Strength. Yeah, I love to train, I love to move. I'm super appreciative to Headsweats, not only for having me as an ambassador this year, but just for making gear more sustainably. However you feel about the current situation, I think we can all agree that we need to be manufacturing things and creating things more sustainably. I think what we've been doing up to this point is very evidently no longer sustainable. So check out Headsweats. They are making apparel gear out of Reprieve, which is made of recycled material, which is incredible. And these shirts are super comfortable. In fact, I don't think I will train in a different shirt than these shirts because they're so comfortable. They are sweat wicking. Now that I'm running a lot, it's really nice to have a lightweight shirt. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an ambassador. I really believe in having less. And I feel like with Headsweats, I found a company that I'm very happy to use their products just from a performance standpoint, but also from their mission statement and their desire to make things more sustainably. So please keep supporting Headsweats. Thank you to Headsweats for supporting me. If you guys have any questions, please shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram. Thank you to everyone who came for the workout. Maybe I'll be back for another one. I would love to, but if not, it's been fun. Hope to hear from you guys. Have a great week. Stay strong, stay healthy, and hopefully we'll all be getting back into our more normal lives and training routines soon. Peace out.